I am accusing you of not being a conservative. You voted against tort reform not once, not twice, but 3 times. Less than 12 months ago, you voted against tort reform, yet right now on your website you say, we need tort reform that caps out-of-control damages. This kind of talking out of both sides of your face is exactly how we got here. You voted against school choice. You voted against tax credits for charitable donations. You're not a conservative. Now, I understand that it's the Republican primary season and it's the year of the Tea Party and you would like to be one. It's fashionable, but you're not. Own it. That's your record.
Thank you very much, sir. And I'm going to say that that's the end of the question. Mr. Miller, you still have a card left. Do you refute? You want to pass on this? You've got it.
I'll just scoot back and let him.
Wise choice. Let me just say now we have, this is the end of the question and answers. The questions and answer period is now over, but we have each candidate that has their 3-minute closing statement. We're going to start that alphabetically. And Mr. Miller, I'm going to go ahead and allow you to use that during either the candidate to extend your own or to respond to one of these closing statements just because you were conservative and didn't use that. So go ahead, let's start with Mr. Kelly, please.
Thank you, everyone, first of all, for coming out here today, and thank you to the Tea Party for doing this event. We are about back. I know it doesn't look that way. Every single day we turn on the news and they're spending something else or regulating something else or getting ready to raise taxes. But because of that, the American people are more awake now than they have ever been. The election of Barack Obama, shockingly and sadly, is exactly what this country needed. Because conservatism is on the rise. We need to remember that. And we need to remember the scariest thing you'll hear out there is something we've all said at some point, anybody but Giffords. Anybody but Giffords better not be the attitude in this district or across this nation. We need to send fighters to Washington. We need to send someone who's going to kick in the door. These politicians, all they want is to glorify themselves and hold a seat in Congress in the most powerful legislature in the world, and too many people have fought and died for freedom in this country to ever stand for that. No politician gets to glorify themselves. We're going to take this country back. The glory will go to God, the liberty will go to the American people, and these politicians can go back and find out what life is like in the private sector in the real world. This is an amazing country. It's a magnificent place. We're going to remain that way because conservatism is coming back. My name is Jesse Kelly. It's been a great honor to speak with you today. It's going to be an honor to be your congressman. We're going to take down Gabrielle Giffords. Thank you very much.
Mr. Miller, you have 3 minutes starting right now.
Thank you very much for your time today to come out and listen to us, our ideas, our plans, our hopes for the future, and I hope that we share a lot of them. I'm going to ask for your vote for a couple of reasons. Number one, the economy. This is the most important issue nationwide this year. And I think that based on, I've been campaigning alongside these gentlemen up here for a long time, and if you follow the campaign, I think a few people would argue that anyone on this stage has a better understanding of free market economics than I do. I'm the lone proponent on this stage of the fair tax. And again, I won't belabor you with those, but I would ask you to check out the more details at fairtax.org. You can learn about it through my website as well. Secondly, on border and national security. I stand alone in this field because I want to solve this problem on the border. I want to do it that protects us, that secures us, that in a manner that we benefit from, that our country benefits from, that our economy benefits from. And thirdly, I think what people across the nation, from coast to coast, are clamoring for is accountability in their politicians. And I'll give you an example of why I stand out in this field on that one. You have the option as a congressional candidate to go to Washington, D.C. and sit down with the National Republican Congressional Committee you can sign up for their help. And you can join their program that fosters and molds young candidates or hopeful congressmen. I went to Washington and I went to meet them, and I sat down and listened to them. I walked out of that meeting and I turned to a member of my campaign staff that was with me, and I said, we're not going to have anything to do with that organization. And you say, well, why would you do that? As an outsider, with no big money behind you, with no special interest behind you, why would you do that? Because they are part of the problem. Because the party grasp on candidates before they get to Washington, D.C. is part of the problem. Had I signed up for this program, and I'm the only one on the stage who can say they didn't do it, you grant the Republican Party establishment intimate access into your campaign to make strategic decisions for you, to determine who you're going to contract with as for vendors. This is part of the problem. You can't send people who've already been tainted into D.C. The powers that be in there are tough enough. In the end, you've got to send someone who's loyal to the Constitution and accountable to you. I'm a constitutional conservative Republican. My name is Brian Miller. I will be loyal to the Constitution, and I will be accountable to you. That's the only way we're going to take this country back. And I'm asking for your vote. Thank you.
Mr. Pagan, you have 3 minutes.
Main issue in this election, I hear this from people all the time, the main issue is healthcare. The main issue is not healthcare, the main issue is not spending. The main issue in this election, it's not even illegal immigration. The main issue in this election is the Constitution of the United States. The fact of the matter is, at the Virginia ratification of our Constitution, they said, we do not trust our liberty to a particular branch of government. We need one branch to be a check on the other. As a congresswoman from this district, Gabrielle Giffords, has she been a check and a balance on the presidential power of this president, or has she been simply a rubber stamp? Has she shown her loyalty to the people of this district, or has she shown her loyalty to Nancy Pelosi? And the bottom line is, do you want someone who's going to be a leader like Gabrielle Giffords, or do you want a leader who's going to have guts? I've got the guts to be your congressman in this district. I know what you're thinking. You're asking yourself, how do we know that you're not simply going to go to Congress and disappoint us like all those other politicians? The answer is this. I'm disgusted by politicians who say one thing and do another. I'm disgusted with politicians who create laws and then refuse to live under the very laws that they create. I'm an Army reservist. I'm a captain in the United States Army Reserve. I was told when I got elected, you know what, if you never want to go to Iraq, all you have to do is sign on the dotted line and send a letter to the Pentagon and you'll never have to go. Not only did I not send that letter, but I believe in the war, I believe in what we're fighting for, I believe in this country, and I signed a different letter, and that was to volunteer to take the next plane to Baghdad. Because I believe that leaders do not lead from the rear, they lead from the front. That's been my legacy in this race. That's been my legacy of serving you in the state capitol. This is not the first time I've ever been to Green Valley. I've been to the Green Valley over the last several years because I've represented you. I'm running for Congress because I love this country. I'm running for Congress because I love this state. I'm running for Congress because I love Southern Arizona, and I'm the only candidate with a proven record to protect it in Washington. Thank you very much.
I'd like to announce that ends the questions and answers, but I think it needs to be noted there's a lot of press in the audience today. Jim Kelly with the Citizen online, Andrea Kelly, no relation, with the Arizona Daily Star, Alan Sussman with the Green Valley News and Sahuarita Sun, as well as the editor of the Green Valley News and Sahuarita Sun. I hope that events like this continue to get that type of press coverage, because it's important for all of us to be able to not only attend, but to be able to read about the ones that we miss. So another